Hello. 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 And welcome back to Cinnamon Leaf ASMR. Today, the first soft-spoken video. I felt like it fit the vibe of this cozy character creator. Let's try it out. If you don't like soft-spoken videos, feel free to try one of the 100 videos that I've made whispering so far. I also just thought I wanted to try it out because my voice is relatively low and I don't think you can hear how low it is in whispering. I think it always sounds light anyway, like a bright high voice, and I have a relatively low voice. So yeah, I felt like trying this out, and without taking 500 years to explain what I'm doing here, welcome. I'm going to try and play around in the character creator, as you probably read in the title. Let's see. Let's make an origin character, like our own character. I've played this game a lot. I have over 800 hours in Baldur's Gate. It's one of my favorite games. I think it's generally probably the best game ever made. Not my favorite game, but I think everyone can agree that favorites are a very like personal thing that doesn't really have anything to do with logic. So I really love this game. It's great. One could play as Darian or Lae'zel or Gale or Shadowheart or Will or Karlach or the Dark Urge. But as we're playing with the character creator, let's go with origin. I think it's really funny when people talk about this game and they're like, oh, there's combat in my dating simulator. Or like, I don't know, also settle in, this is going to be a long one. But, or if they're like, oh, this is dress up. And yeah, let's play a little dress up. Let's play make a character. I might make this a series of like making different characters, potentially. We'll see. Okay, so there's different options. The first thing is race, which I don't love that word. I'm a huge Critical Role fan, and there they kind of stopped using the word for this D&D thing, and instead they started calling it like ancestry or lineage, and I kind of prefer that because I don't love this term in general and the way it's talked about, but in this game there is some sense to it. So the first one we have is elf. That's the one that's already selected, and the description is, with ethereal countenances and long lifespans, elves are at home with nature's power, flourishing in light and dark alike. Beautiful. I love elves. There's subclasses also. You know what? Let's talk about that. Subraces. Let's talk about that right now. My first one was not the high elf, but a wood elf was my first character in this game. High elves are heirs of the mystical Feywild. High elves value magic in all its forms, and even those who do not study spellcraft can manipulate the weave. Mine was a wood elf. I loved him. It was a great first character. Wood elves. These elves spend their reclusive lives in Faerun's forests. Decades of training in archery and camouflage are enhanced by an otherworldly swiftness. I love that, actually. That's actually why I picked my first character. I was obsessed with the idea that I could just like be really fast and run around everywhere. But yeah, that's our first choice. You know what? Like, let's just go with like, I don't know, I'm deciding how I want to make this a series. If I go like, okay, we're making an elven character, so let's like look at elf and half elf in the first one maybe, and then we can go on and make like a different character. My favorite race, I guess, ancestry, lineage, is tiefling. I think that's very common. Tiefling is extremely popular, and they're also very fun to play, so think that makes sense. Let's go for elf and then half elf. Yeah, I think those are the most elven. Well, technically, I guess drow are also elves, so let's maybe go with these three. Let's look at these three first. And let's look at drow. Look how cool. Driven to the Underdark, most drow have adopted a ruthless pragmatism. While the Loathsworn delight in the goddess's evil tenets, the Seldarine reject her attempt to overthrow the leader of the elven pantheon. You get cool. You get a cantrip, dancing lights. I didn't look at that earlier. Let's look at that. An elf is normally speedy. Wood elves are speedier. We learned about that. You have proficiency with a long sword, short bow, and long bow. And you have a bit of dark vision, up to 12 meters, and Fey ancestry, so advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. That's kind of cool. And then the drow have drow weapon training, so proficiency with a rapier, short sword, and hand crossbow. And superior dark vision, up to 24 meters, which makes sense since they live mostly in the Underdark. And they also have Fey ancestry. Half-elves are, an elf and a human had a child. I actually think it's kind of sad that we can't be a half orc, because you can't be an orc. But I think it's kind of sad that none of the other races have mixes in this game. I really like that. I think that's fun. But half-elf, curious, ambitious, and versatile. Half-elves are welcome everywhere, but struggle without a community to call their own. Also really fun. Kind of sad in the description, but they also have base racial speed, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then civil militia, which is a thing I think humans also have. Is that a human trait? I think it's a human trait. So they basically have a mix of elven and human traits, which makes sense. You have weapon proficiency with spears, pikes, halberds, and glaives, and armor proficiency with light armor and shields. That's really cool. And dark vision, once again, and Fey ancestry. Half-elf, I think, is the most stereotypically standard thing to go for. But it is fun. It is pretty, it's a fun mix of things. But I think, today I would go, what do we think? Oh yeah, I also have to say, this isn't yet with the new update, with the 1.8, is that what it's called? The 8th patch 8. It's without that because I have mods. And I actually put my Steam to offline before the update dropped, so that I don't have to deal with the fact that my mods don't work. So I'm gonna wait to install it until my mods have updated. But yeah, you know what? I already said that I liked my wood elf, but do we want to go wood elf or do we want to go high elf? I've never played a high elf. What do we think? I mean, drow is also cool. I could make a drow. No, I think I'm gonna go for an elf. And since I've played a wood elf before, well, now I'm thinking if it would make sense for the channel name to be a wood elf. You know what, why not? Let's go for a wood elf. I love a wood elf. Now we can think about classes. I love this game. God, I'm so excited. I want to play it again. I banned myself from playing it for the longest time. Because the 800 hours, it's too much. Which, obviously, also people who've played this game, 800 hours is actually not that much for this game. I mean, it is a lot, obviously, of lifetime to invest. But, in terms of playthroughs, it actually doesn't tell you that much. One playthrough already takes so many hours, so I actually only finished for fully 2 playthroughs, and then I have 2 I think that are in the 3rd act, and I abandoned one at the end of the 2nd because I wasn't vibing with the character anymore. So yeah, different things, But let's look at the barbarian class. I hope I didn't just touch the microphone. If so, I'm sorry. Barbarian. The strong embrace the wild that hides inside keen instincts, primal physicality, and most of all, an unbridled, unquenchable rage. And you get actions, rage, where you deal 2 extra damage with melee and improvised weapons and throwing, and you also get a cool bonus attack. And unarmored defense. Oh, that's fun. I never actually looked at that. While not wearing armor, you add your constitution modifier to your armor class. What are the details? Oh, okay. That makes sense, but yeah, cool. That's not super interesting to make a character. I love barbarians. I've never played it, actually. Then Bard. Bard is my personal favorite class, I gotta say. It's very fun to play. It's a very good starter class, also. Bards know music is more than idle fancy. It's power. Through study and adventure, these traveling troubadours master song, speech, and the magic within. I love this stuff. It feels like a storybook. And you get vicious mockery, where you basically insult someone and it hurts them. And Blade Ward, where you're more defensive, essentially. And then spells, you get Healing Word, Dissonant Whispers, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And Heroism, where you can be immune. These are all, I'm not going to talk about each and every one of them because that would make this video extremely long, but these are all very fun. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear what's outside right now. I don't know what it is. Something really loud just passed my window. And most importantly, you get Bardic Inspiration, which makes gives people additional dice to roll, essentially, so their roll is higher. So Bard is really fun. Cleric. Clerics are representatives of the gods they worship, wielding potent divine magic for good or ill. I love clerics as well. They have many cool things that they can do. Resistance, guidance, sacred flame, and they get really cool spells. Guiding bolt, which people who play this game know Shadowheart, who is a cleric, never hits with that. And then Healing Word, it's a meme at this point, and Inflict Wounds, and Shield of Faith, and Bane. Very cool stuff. And you get spell slots, so they're a caster. Bards are also casters, but it doesn't have to be the main focus. You can also be more of a fighter. Clerics are primarily casters, but they're like defense tags, so they also have lots of constitution and stuff, usually, and strength. And domain spells, so these are dependent on what domain you pick. So this is life domain, so it would be more healing based. Druid. Druids channel the elemental forces of nature and share a deep kinship with animals. Mastery of wild shape allows them to transform into beasts from all over the realms. I think this is the theoretically coolest class if you think about it. But I think a downside to druids in this game is that they get really cool at really high levels, and this game you can only level until level 12, which is really high, but it's not 20. I actually learned how to say this from a friend who had some Gaelic at university, because it's a Gaelic word, I'm pretty sure. And I think it's shillelagh, I think, but shillelagh, I'm never sure, but something like that. So this is to make your staff magical. And then Thorn Whip, Ice Knife, Thunder Wave, Cure Wounds, Healing Word, and Enhanced Leap. And they are also a caster, but I think druids are the most versatile caster. They also have fighting elements, and wild shape is basically you have a huge, for example, bear to fight, and they also attack with claws, so it's a really cool fun class. Fighter. Fighters have mastered the art of combat, wielding weapons with unmatched skill and wearing armor like a second skin. And second wind is what they get, so they can heal themselves with like trying to hold on. And this class gets a lot of flack for not being like versatile, but actually I think in actual D&D and what I've seen on Critical Role, it's actually really cool. You just have to be a bit more creative yourself. There's like not that much in the actual class, but it's cool and it's really strong. And then we have monk. Some reach enlightenment by languid meditation, others do so in the heat of battle. Monks manipulate ki to empower their own strikes and debilitate their foes. You get Flurry of Blows, which is like a multi-attack, and you get class features. Ki is the magic that flows through all living beings. It's the force. You can use it to exceed your body's physical capabilities. You get unarmored defense, dexterous attacks, deft strikes, and bonus unarmed strikes. Monks are like super overpowered, I think. I've never played one actually, but they are so strong and they get really, really cool moves. Especially in this game, there's also lots of items that you find on playthroughs that you cannot use if you're not a monk or that don't do anything for you. So they're really cool. Paladin, a promise made so deeply that it becomes divine in itself, flows through a paladin, burning bright enough to inspire allies and smite foes. I think this is my favorite text. I think a promise made so deeply that it becomes divine is beautiful writing. You get Lay on Hands, so a healing spell, and Divine Sense, so you can be better against celestials, fiends, and undead. And you get Channel Oath charges, so you can channel your oath a certain amount of times to do certain things. There's like different things that you can do with that. I'm currently playing a paladin, so I don't think we're doing that right now. I'm playing a dwarven paladin in my current playthrough. And then there's Ranger. Rangers are unrivaled scouts and trackers, honing a deep connection with nature in order to hunt their favored prey. True Strike, which I think, at least in my playstyle, is one of the most useless cantrips ever, because gaining advantage on your next attack roll I never care that much about, especially because this is also an action, so you can't do it as a bonus action on your move, you have to do it as the main action. And I would rather just attack twice than try to get advantage once and then attack, is my personal, I don't know, someone explain to me in the comments maybe how to use True Strike. Mansplain it to me. And then Beast Tamer, Find Familiar. And this is very fun. This is my favorite part about being a ranger. I've played it before. And I love that you can just summon an animal to like fight with you. I think that's so cute. And then we have Rogue. With stealth, skill, and uncanny reflexes, Rogue's versatility lets them get the upper hand in almost any situation. And you get a sneak attack, ranged, and melee. They're also very cool. I think the classes that you already have a companion with in your party in this game are less interesting, personally, to play yourself, because you already kind of play it yourself, because you do control the other characters. And we have a barbarian, we have a cleric, we have a druid, we have a fighter, we have a rogue, and we have a warlock. So, and a wizard. So we have lots of these already. To me, they're less interesting, but they're still extremely fun, and I might pick one now, who knows. And then sorcerer. Sorcerers are natural spellcasters, drawing on inherent magic from a gift or bloodline. So that's the difference, by the way, between wizard and sorcerer. I think, coming from German language background, to me these are harder to separate, because in German both of these would just be a Zauberer, and I think maybe potentially this is this is translated as a hexer, so I'm not sure. But sorcerers are like, it's in their blood, and wizards learn it, so that's the difference. And you get different cantrips like Bone Shell, Acid Splash, True Strike, and Light, and spells like Chromatic Orb and Magic Missile, which Magic Missile is an extremely helpful one, very good. And you're also a caster, so you get spell slots. And then Warlock. Bound by a pact to an all-powerful patron, warlocks trade their loyalty for supernatural abilities and unique magic. So there's a really cool class. That was my second playthrough. My first one was a bard. My second one was a warlock. My third one was a sorcerer. My abandoned one was the druid, but that says nothing about the druid. I just didn't like the choices I made. So warlocks get cantrips, the Eldritch Blast and Blade Ward, and Eldritch Blast is extremely good. Because cantrips you can always do. This is extremely strong, because it also levels with you, so it gets stronger, which is really cool. But they only have very few warlock spell slots, which is kind of annoying. Like at some point, at least the way I play it, I just use really strong spells, like 6th level, 5th level spells, like one time, rather than using it on little spells. And the rest I just do with Eldritch Blast, because you only get like 3 or 2 or something, so that's not really that much. Like 3 spells to use during one until one short rest is not that much, I think. And then we have Wizard. Wizards master the arcane by specializing in individual schools of magic, combining ancient spells with modern research. Cantrips: Firebolt, Mage Hand, and Ray of Frost. Mage Armor: Fog Cloud, Grace, Thunder Wave, Sleep, and Magic Missile. And we get an action that is Arcane Recovery. Replenish spell slots while out of combat. You cannot restore spell slots above 5th level. Interesting. And we get 1 spell slot. So, because we're also obviously a caster. Now comes the choice. I'm unsure actually. I'm not prepared for this video, clearly. I like barbarians. I think because we're an elf, I'm kind of like, there are stereotypes here. One would think that ranger druid is something that comes with wood elves. I think that would make lots of sense. The question is if I ever actually play this character. I'm also, there are certain things that go along well with certain heritages and lineages that I don't have as much of an overview over that. Like there's certain things like orcs have a certain quality that lets them get up once from being downed, so a day. So that's really good. And there's like certain combinations that work well. I don't know those. Not all of them, for sure. So, I don't know, what do we think? I don't think a barbarian. I don't think a bard. If we're, like, it depends on if we're thinking, like, this is my character, which it's not, because I'm not an elf. Where am I? No, but, I don't know what would go well with this. I have never played a wizard, so theoretically an elven wizard might be fun, but then maybe I might go with a high elf. Would that make sense? I think that makes sense. You know what? Am I going back on my thing from earlier? Would that be annoying? Would that be non-relaxing? A high elf where we can pick a cantrip and be a wizard. I think a high elf wizard sounds really fun. Let's pick a cantrip. Okay. I'm just deciding that this is fine. I hope this is fun. Also, it's so common for people to spend like 3 hours in this. I hope that this won't be 3 hours. I am hoping for under 1 hour. We will see. But yeah, this is just us hanging out. Cozy casual. So we have Acid Splash, Bone Chill, Poison Spray, Shocking Grasp, Blade Ward, Friends, Dancing Lights, Light, Minor Illusion, and True Strike. Well, I already talked about what I don't like about True Strike. And we also get spells that are really cool that we can play around with in a bit. I think out of all of these, the light ones are very helpful for Act 2, but I don't think particularly helpful now. Bone Chill is, I don't think, as helpful in balanced gameplay, which is the difficulty I selected in the beginning before you saw me, because no one really heals, or they don't heal that much, so I don't think Bone Chill, which stops targets from healing, makes much sense. I like Shocking Grasp, I gotta say. I think it's nice because then they can't attack you immediately, like their reactions cannot be used, so opportunity attacks also don't work, which is really cool. Maybe I'll go with Shocking Grasp. Why not? I like it. And we're wizards, we decided. And then we pick cantrips. Fun. And we also, oh, that's fun because we're a high elf, we get an additional cantrip. Maybe high elf wizard is a good combination. Maybe I was right. Maybe I picked right. So we're for sure picking Firebolt because that's a good cantrip, I think. And Ray of Frost is the same thing, essentially, just with less damage to balance out the fact that it reduces the target's movement speed, which is an additional bonus. And then I think Mage Hand. I think actually these pre-selected ones are good. I agree with that selection. Mage Hand. Oh, sorry, I think I touched the microphone again. I'm like gesticulating with my left hand for some reason. Mage Hand is good. Mage Hand, you create a hand and they can move places and look at things, and it's cool. So yeah, why not? Now let's look at the spells. Okay. I know that I'm gonna change these already. So we have Burning Hands, which has like a funny, it's like shooting fire directly out of your hands in front of you. Then we have Charm Person, Chromatic Orb, Color Spray, Disguise Self, Expeditious Retreat. I love the image for that. I think it's so funny. False Life, Featherfall. That's a very nice word. Find Familiar, Fog Cloud, Grease, Ice Knife, Enhanced Leap, Long Strider, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Protection from Evil and Good, Ray of Sickness, Shield, Sleep, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Thunder Wave, and Witch Bolt. As a wizard, you can learn any spell from any spell scroll, so that isn't particularly relevant. I think there's very few spells that you never find in this game, if there is any, as a scroll, I mean. So this is more about what we want in the beginning for sure. So I don't want Fog Cloud. I think, well, I don't know. Let's see. I'm just deleting the ones that I don't think I'm gonna need. Mage Armor is extremely helpful for mages that don't wear armor. Then they can use the magical one. Magic Missile is great. Thunder Wave is a classic and very fun. I like Witch Bolt, but I think it's actually not as good as I make it out to be. I would use like getting around spells, so Featherfall I would say is good in the beginning. Actually I might accept Fog Cloud. I think it can be helpful in some parts. And what else? I think I would go Chromatic Orb. I think it's very versatile. You can pick what damage you want it to do. That's really versatile for like anything, and we already have lightning damage, fire damage, ice damage, force damage, cold damage is what it's called, thunder damage, and force damage. So that's lots of them, and then I think we have all of them covered. I'm not a huge fan of Grease and like all of these other ones that do things before you attack. It's like in Pokemon when you don't pick the growl where you can actually do something about the statistics of your attack. I just like to hit things. Okay, so I think that works for me. Yeah, I'm looking at that. I think I'm fine with that. I think this would be the first time I pick a caster and I don't pick Witchbolt. But I think that works for me. I might like, you know what, sticking to my roots. I think I might not pick Fog Cloud, but that's okay. Backgrounds. This is kind of fun. In this game there is a system where, I mean, basically it's D&D, so you roll for how you do things, how well you do at things, and if you want to re-roll, you can use inspiration. That's not really how inspiration works. Like bardic inspiration works really differently, and I think in D&D there's like GM inspiration where they basically do this, so that's what this is. But yeah, so you can get 1 inspiration per character, so 4 in total if you take a whole party, and the things you are inspired by change based on the background, so that's why we pick these. And you can also make it a choice, like you can make it a choice is kind of not what I'm trying to say. You can make it a roleplay based choice where you just want this background. So let's read through them. We have Acolyte. You've spent your life in service to a temple, learning sacred rites and providing sacrifices to the god or gods you worship. Serving the gods and discovering their sacred works will guide you to greatness. Charlatan. You're an expert in manipulation, prone to exaggeration, and more than happy to profit from it. Bending the truth and turning allies against each other will lead to greater success down the road. Criminal. Oops, that was probably loud. Criminal. You have a history of breaking the law and survive by leveraging less than legal connections. Profiting from criminal enterprise will lead to greater opportunities in the future. Entertainer. You live to sway and subvert your audience, engaging common crowds and high society alike. Preserving art and bringing joy to the hapless and downtrodden heightens your charismatic aura. Oh yeah, and what I'm not talking about is these skills down here. You get like some bonuses, which we're kind of building our character sheet on the right here. Folk hero. You're a champion of the common people, challenging tyrants and monsters to protect the helpless, not hapless. Saving innocents in imminent danger will make your legend grow. Or guild artisan. Your skill in a particular craft has earned you membership in a mercantile guild, offering privileges and protection while engaging in your art. Repairing and discovering rare crafts will bring new inspiration. Noble. You were raised in a family among the social elite, accustomed to power and privilege. Accumulating renown, power, and loyalty will raise your status. Outlander. You grew up in the wilds, learning to survive far from the comforts of civilization. Surviving unusual hazards of the wild will enhance your prowess and understanding. That's also pretty cool. Sage. You are curious and well-read with an unending thirst for knowledge. Learning about rare lore of the world will inspire you to put this knowledge to greater purpose. Soldier. You were trained in battlefield tactics and combat, having served in a militia, mercenary company, or officer corps. Show smart tactics and bravery on the battlefield to enhance your prowess. And final, urchin. After surviving a poor and bleak childhood, you know how to make the most of very little. Using your street smarts bolsters your spirit for the journey ahead. Fun. So, I go between folk hero and sage because I usually play this game very much heroically. I can't do an evil playthrough, guys. It's impossible. I can't. I love these characters too much. I can't kill them. Well, there's one I would kill, but it's fine. So I usually go for Sage because I always also read like every book. So I think Sage makes a lot of sense, especially for a wizard. It would be the exact same background that Gale has as a character, but I don't think I would mind that, so I would go with Sage. I think that makes sense. Outlander I would have considered for a wood elf, you know, we're a high elf, so that doesn't make sense. Let's go with that. Abilities. Okay, so this is a thing. This is a D&D thing that I'm not going to explain too much, but basically these are your base skills, and you have them. And this is basically what your rolls also depend on. So at intelligence we currently have a +5 to saving throws and a +3 to checks. So if I'm like, okay, I want to do something that would be based on an intelligence check, I would add 3 to my roll because we have better skills here. And we are also a wizard, so our castings or our attacks are based on intelligence, which this is indicating. And we have pretty high intelligence. That's pretty great. Horrible strength, but that's to be expected. We're a wizard. And I actually think these are also really cool. I usually don't play with these, like I don't change these much, because I think this makes lots of sense. But, and I don't want to, I'm not as advanced a player to know what I would change here. But with skill proficiencies I actually do play around sometimes, because we have Arcana, History, Investigation, Insight, and Perception skills. But, for example, for some characters, like, technically in this game you can absolutely save scum, so if something goes wrong you can reroll. And lots of, like, charisma-based things you could easily reroll because you're in a conversation and you can save and then roll and just reroll. So that's why I usually don't go for these, but these are good, I think. Arcana, History, Investigation, Insight, Perception, these are all, like, this is if you want to find something out about magic, if you want to find something out about history, if you're investigating something, if you're trying to understand someone, or if you're trying to see something. I think these are good skills to have. I'd take them. And prepare spells. So we can only prepare 4. So we have to kick some out. I think I might kick out Thunderwave for Chromatic Orb in the beginning because it's more different. It's more versatile. I said this earlier. And now we're kind of done with the theoretical part. I'm gonna actually put this in one video. We'll see how fast we are. But we're gonna edit the appearance. First off, this is our lovely lady so far. You can already see that I have some mods. If you know the game, these eyes are not particularly normal. They're a certain mod, but I love them, so I usually have them on. So there's different body types. There's type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. This was my first body type that I played, a large man. But I think for an elf, actually, either 1 or 2, so feminine perceived and masculine perceived body. I think I'm gonna just go with feminine perceived for this. I think that makes the most sense if we're trying to, like, kind of make me. It's not really me. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be me. We talked about this, but I think it works. And I also have lots of mods for these, so let's edit the appearance of her. I'm not gonna change voice. I don't think we want to listen to that right now, but I'm sure she has a lovely voice. And then I have lots of modded faces. I love all of them. They're very pretty. I think modded faces are actually underestimated, how much they make a difference to how you play. Not like, that sounds dramatic, but because there is a certain amount of faces, you will run into people who have these faces in the game, and I think that feels weird. So I usually love to pick a different face. Some of these I find kind of weird, some of these I love. Let's see which one works well with an elf. Beautiful, for example, absolutely gorgeous. I love the little nose. Beautiful, beautiful. Very pretty. Looks a little like she's got lip filler. Not that there's a problem with that. Ooh, also very pretty. I love the ears. Very gorgeous. All of these are going to be pretty, don't you worry. Beautiful. Okay. They're all very pretty. I don't know how I'm going to decide this. Also what I'm going to say while I'm deciding. You're just watching me play dress up, which is what this video is. I hope it's nice and relaxing. That's also very pretty. Maybe a large forehead in comparison to where the face is. This is kind of fun because these are Orin, which is a character in the game. Don't necessarily want to look like her, but people do. And you can very clearly see that these are also based on faces in the game. Like this person you can almost recognize from the game. I'm kind of tempted to just go with her. She seemed... I love her nose. It's very elven. Very elven. I think I'm gonna go with her. To make this faster and also because it's cute. Beautiful. In terms of skin tone, this is always very fun because you can also go with many, many different skin colors, which is very sweet. I think for me, if we're going kind of my skin color, I'm more like this. I don't know if that works for us. Very pink. You know what? Why not? I gotta stick with myself. I'm very pink. I'm very ginger. So I think that works. Very blushy. Very cute. I don't think it works with the hair color, but we can change that still. And I personally always give my characters a scar. I have a facial scar, so it feels like representation and it makes me feel nice. So let's pick a cute little scar. I actually find scars to be really pretty on people. Like, I think it tells a story and that you've lived. And I think embracing them is important, but of course there's always insecurities with your own face. So I'm not the biggest fan of my own scar, but I love it on other people and I think we should embrace them more. And like feel less self-conscious. They're all very, like, these are obviously also artfully placed. This one looks like a lightning. I kind of like it. Very pretty. This one I like because it has the chin piece also. Which one was it? There was one that I thought made like lots of sense. Was it? It was not this one. Was it this one? I'm never sure. There is one that like really nicks through several places of the face. I think I'm gonna go for the lightningy one. I think it looks like a wizard kind of scar. It looks kind of like a spell scar because it looks like it's streaked across her face. I think that's cool. And then you can also be mature in the game. You can be a bit older. I think that's nice. I don't usually go for it, but it's cute. I always give my characters so many freckles. I also have some freckles, sadly not as intense as I would want them, but they're there. You can also have, is it vitiligo? Vitiligo? I'm never sure. Pigmentation? I don't usually go for that, but it's also very beautiful. Not going to show you the genitals, but you can look at them. So that's the face, I think. And then body art. See, this is a thing. I replace some of these, so these are modded. They don't actually look like they're makeup. They don't look like that because I don't usually use the facial tattoos. I have some. See, this is also different. It's like different facial tattoos. I've used them before. I had a very pretty character that had like a really beautiful, I don't know if I replaced that now, but a really beautiful design. I think it was something like this. That's so interesting. It's this sign. But But there were this, I think this one, yeah. I had this one on a horned character, which looked really pretty. But I think we're gonna go for like a makeup-y kind of thing, right? Are we? Are we, or are we going tattooy? I mean, certainly less intense. We're just gonna use this setting because in the mods use these like as where you put facial things. Why not? I think that's kind of cute. Nice. Technically, elves also obviously could have facial tattoos. Anyone can have facial tattoos. But I think this works. Cool. And then piercings. Oh, now there's a problem because I have so many installed. I have so many. So many. I had these on a character. I have so many earrings installed. We just gotta go with the first ones we like. We don't have time. We don't have time. The key is very cool, actually. And I love these like sets of things where you like super pierced. Oh, that's also pretty with the feathers. We are a wizard, we gotta remember. I think there is one set that is like Swamp Wizard. I think that's what it's called. Ooh, that's a really pretty Selûne set, but I don't think Selûne, who's the moon goddess in this game, doesn't. And in Faerun, which is where D&D technically is set, I don't think it makes sense to go for that. Unicorn horn, very pretty. Actually, that's very cute. Let's remember that. Let's remember the unicorn horns. I, by the way, don't know if I'm soft speaking anymore or if I'm just talking. I hope that this is still somewhat relaxing. We're not a ballist, so no. This really is the first video I'm recording in this style, so we gotta see if it works for me and for you. Oh, cute. These are like mermaidy. Pretty. Pretty shells and mermaids. And this is, it's called Calarderin because this is, Calarderin. It's a design that's on a ring in the game. I even know what the ring is because I've played this game too many times. Pretty designs. These are very big though. I'm also noticing an effect that always happens with me when I start with a certain character, that I like look at them so long that I'm like, no, that doesn't work with that, even though we're gonna change the eyes presumably, so you know, we don't have to make this go with the eyes. That's not necessary. Why is it loud outside? I think I literally picked the day where like the city is cutting the lawn in the park that's out of my window. Why today, guys? Oh, I love piercings. I think they're so pretty. But I don't know if these look too modern to me, if that makes sense. I think they look too much like they don't fit into this universe. But these are all gorgeous. These remind me of Sims. The green ones specifically, obviously, but yeah, see, these look too modern to me. But I never uninstall mods because I don't organize my mods folder, which I should probably do. I love that. I was like, let's pick the first ones that we like, which were the unicorns, and I didn't. But I'm kind of waiting for the Swamp Wizard thing. It's also cool. See, these are so cool. These are so cool. I think because if you have an elf, you always have the urge to like plaster piercings on those ears. If I had ears that big and that beautiful, I would absolutely put, these look cool, put so many piercings on these ears. I think that's so funny that you have glasses in the game. Like these are not base game, these are modded, but I think they're funny. This would be funny for a wizard actually to have glasses, but I think it's weird because I think these actually disappear if you talk to people, and then that's kind of weird. I think. I, by the way, went backwards because I know that that's where all the modded ones are. So where's my Swamp Wizard? I mean, these are also fun. Archfey, snake bites. I love snake bites. These are snake bites are the only facial piercings I've ever considered for me, because I think they look really fun, but I don't think I want them. Come on, show me the swamp wizard. I don't know why I constantly start singing. I know that one of these is called the swamp wizard. Maybe I'll cut this out. I don't know. Me just going and looking at piercings, but I guess that's kind of part of this. We're playing dress up. We're playing with the dolls. I don't like these. Okay, see, oh, well, that's gately, at least. But that wasn't what I was looking for either. Watch me end up not liking the swamp wizard one. But cute. These do look too standard, like they look too modern. Oh, and these are broken, which was fun. They were already broken with the last update. They just don't sit right on the face, which is funny. Dragon Dirks. Oh, that's very pretty. Oh, and perfectly balanced is obviously because it's like very symmetrical. Oh, that's gorgeous. We're remembering that one. Perfectly balanced. J, perfectly balanced. Remember it. There we go. That's the swamp wizard. See, and what I said was true. I don't like it. Let's try the perfectly balanced if we like it. I think that's very pretty. I mean, I guess it's not very wizardy, but I really like it. Or do we just go unicorns? I also love the unicorn horns. They were like more, I'm like, okay, we're going unicorn. You will just hear me click so many times, so many times, because the unicorns were at the beginning. They were at the beginning. I hope this is not super loud and uncomfortable, but let's go, you know? I think in my head this character is already starting to form, and she's like, see, yeah, unicorn horn. I don't think I want the set. I think I just want the horn. I'm wondering if I want both of them, if that works, if that's a thing. I think I want both of them. I think it's fun to have like a character that she's like really dreamy and she wanted to learn through stories, and then she became a wizard to like read so many books, like a bookish fantasy person. I think that's cute. Or do we just want one? Because maybe she only ever found one. I think that's cute. Let's go with that one. And then the eyes. You can do heterochromia. She's got homophobia in her eyes. Sorry, that's a meme. But I think let's just go with evenness, maybe. And there's beautiful eye colors, and you can also go all of them. I think today I'm gonna stick to the ones that we have. Like pre-selected. Let's see, let's look at them. Elf blue. Different elf blue. This one is so beautiful. Holy sh. Gorgeous. Gold really goes well with her hair. But I think we're gonna change the hair color anyway. Some greens. Oh, this one's beautiful. Elf silver, also gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my god. She's so pretty. Imagine waking up and looking like that. And this person probably doesn't exist in real life, just to keep beauty standards to a normal. Also, I just realized that we still have like heavy makeup on. Beautiful. Ooh. Oh, I like this one. Very fun, with the inside being a bit different. Very, very fun. I think I'm remembering that one. Blue 6. This one I've played before. My sorcerer character had these eyes. Brown, always also very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I think these eyes, I think these are modded, like the way they appear is modded. These colors are not, I think. And I actually think it's a really impressive mod also. I think they're like pinstripe. I think the irises are smaller and there's like something about the glow. Ooh, these are pretty. I love the ones where there's different colors in them. Oh, and these ones. That one's pretty. Oh, I won't be able to decide. I can already tell I won't be able to decide. Why is it so loud? If you can hear it, I'm so sorry. Ooh, these are also fun. I think these are a bit too spacey for me though, and these ones are really pretty. Let's decide between this one and this one. I think this one is more expressive. It like goes a bit more with the color of her scar, maybe. With this one, I can even imagine a story of like, because this red is kind of similar to this red brown, like her eyes were just blue and she got hit with a spell, and that's why her eyes are changed and her scars that way. I think I like that. That's very pretty. And then let's immediately remove that makeup. She's still beautiful. Take her swimming on the first date. I'm joking. I don't know how much makeup we would want. She's like a bookish person, bookish nerd. How much makeup is she gonna wear? These are also all modded, as you can see. They're like way less intense. Or like more standardized, not as fancy, cool, different stuff. That's fun. That's a really fun replacement because this one looks kind of chunky in the original style. I think I like this one the most. Way less intense though. I don't remember if you can change. Yeah, you can change the intensity. I like to do a thing that I'm probably not going to do right now, but I did it before, that I pick like a metally color and I turn the metallic and the glossy up and then just turn the intensity down, because then you just get like a light glistening effect around the eye, which is very pretty. Actually, that is very pretty on her as well, but maybe not with like, see, like you could probably do something that would look really cool. I don't know, maybe less metallic and then just, I think that's a bit intense. Maybe let's just make, make this a little glistening effect. Why not? And then her lips are, I picked a dark brown because that's supposed to go well, like a dark Bordeaux red brown is supposed to go well with blue eyes. Lips, we already kind of did something, but we can add a little bit. Oh, that's a bit much. Why is it immediately so intense? Let's go with the lighter one, and then I usually go and give it a little bit of gloss. She is young and beautiful, and her lips are glossy. Her lip gloss be poppin'. Her lip gloss be cool. Give me 40, come on. Thank you. I think that's beautiful. And then let's go with hair. And here we obviously also have 5 million choices because I have so much modding in here. God, she's pretty. Hello. And we already have a little story for her. I love her. But let's go with a hair color. I would usually always go with a red. I have like a little mod installed to do ginger hair because it's always wrong, but we could go with like a warmer brown red, because I don't wanna push my ginger hair. It's not agency, agenda. Also, I have this, I think, which is cool. There's 4, and like the first one has the eyebrows and the eyelashes also in a different color, and then it's just the eyelashes and it's just the eyebrows, and then this is none of them, which I think is really fun. That you like, if you naturally go for a color, they would be a certain way, like they would all be changed. Which way was it? Was it all? Yeah, all in the first one. So we're going for the first one. Ooh, that's a fun color. I think it makes us a bit pale. I would go with like a warm brown, I think, for her. I think that makes the most sense and works well with her vibe. Let's see. Puppy brown. What a fun term. Let's see. Honey, I think, is too yellow. Ooh, burgundy is kind of fun, but maybe too much of a contrast. We will see. Oxblood is really dark. I think we're finding ourselves somewhere in the chocolate realm. Maybe this is a bit too harsh again. I'm struggling to decide. I mean, technically Vivid Auburn is also very pretty, even though Auburn is like more orange, ginger, red than I was planning. Praline. Ooh. It's very pretty. All of it is very pretty. I don't know what I'm talking about. Brown mauve. Whipped honey. All of these are kind of more blonde, but they're like gingery. This is fun. We can also always go with a mixed color. I think for now I'm gonna go with the semi-sweet chocolate, and then we can always put highlights, and then we can also go all highlight colors, and then there's more, and we can go, for example, for like a Vivid Auburn highlight, and then you can see that like her hair has some warmer orange tones. And graying is also actually kind of fun because you can pick just a color and we can make it like her graying is a darker color, for example, or a redder color that would then change, or green or classic hot pink that would then change how the hair in general looks. I think that's actually, I like the Vivid Copper in there and like Vivid Auburn as like a warm shade that kind of matches the brown stuff. And now we can pick a different hairstyle. It might end up that these colors don't look good with a different hairstyle. We will see. Oh, that is already super pretty. But for elves, I like the hairstyles to show the ears. I'm just gonna, because these also don't have a preview, I'm just gonna like kind of randomly click because we don't have time to look at all of these. I think that would take 100 years. I would usually do it, obviously, but maybe not for a video. We can also just go with a base game one. These are very fun because they're so long and they have physics, so your hair spins around you. But I actually don't love how they frame the face. I've had a problem with that in a past playthrough. Here Orin comes back in. I think this is just long hair. I think these 5 are just different long hair, which actually works for elves now that I think about it. This is kind of Chihiro. Oh, this one's pretty. This one's really gorgeous, but I actually don't think it works well with her face shape. Let's see what it ends up being. These are the base game ones again. That looks kind of fun. I think we're gonna find our hairstyle that we want like further up here, to be perfectly honest. This is a very elven hairstyle. I wonder if that's even modeled after like Legolas. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, that's cute with the mermaid. But I don't think that works with our face shape again. But it is very pretty. Do we have the mermaid here? No. Interesting. These are cute. I don't think I've ever used them. What are they from? Oh, they are from the feathers thing. I want to show off the ears though. That's why we're not picking this one. Let's click through some of these, I guess. Just to see. See, I like the way the light hits this hair. It's like it makes it more, like, do you see that it looks like richer? Like, look at that, that looks gorgeous. And the others look slightly more palish in this light. Cute. That's also kind of cute. It's kind of basic. We're just gonna be here for 500 years. But I guess that's normal. This is just Shadow Heart's hairstyle. We're not gonna go for that. That's hers. I don't want to steal it. In these, you can see that it's kind of coated weird because you can see that there's like really dark under there. And those end up not looking the nicest, or it's like modeled weird. Makes more sense, I guess. And I have these without the physics because they didn't work on the body type I played these on if they had physics, so that's why they don't have physics, but I don't actually mind. Ooh, I kind of love that. It like implies that there's lots of hair, but you can't see it. Cute. Gorgeous. I love that. It's 26. Let's remember 26. We're not gonna click through many more. If I don't find anything soon, I'm gonna be like, no, it's 26. This one's also pretty. Which one do I like more? Oh, no, I don't like the way the hair like pokes out of her neck here. No, no, no. This is also no way to roast the original modder. That's not at all what I'm saying. They actually just don't work with this face, probably. Because this face is also modded. This is also very pretty. It's a bit wilder. This here, I don't like the height. Well, that's very pretty as well. That seems very similar to the other one. I keep saying we're not gonna click through all of these, and then I just do anyway. Well, whatevs. I think there's a difference to the earlier ones, but I don't currently see what it is. Maybe it's that they're curly, but there was some curly before. We are going for 26. I've decided I am done. We're going for her. She's very pretty and like prim and proper and like princessy. I like it. There we go then. That's our girl. That's our girl. She looks really prim and proper, actually. Like very, maybe strict in a way, but I kind of like that. That's cute. Let's go to proceed, and then we can write her name in. I'm gonna name her Cinnamon. I can't type, apparently. I think that makes sense. Cinnamon. There we go. I don't know if you could hear that. I think something just fell on the top floor, like in the flat above me. Shout out to my neighbors. I'm gonna press proceed, but just to save the character, we don't need the introduction here. It's gruesome. We don't need it. So yeah, I think we're done. I hope this was fun to watch. I don't know if it was. We just made a random character. Cinnamon is what came out of it. I'm happy with her. I hope you guys like her. She might be a bit basic, but we went for an elven character, and they're always kind of basic. Not to shade. But yeah, I hope this was fun. I don't know if Softspoken works for me. If this was Softspoken, if you felt relaxed by it, if you had fun hanging out with me, if you're still awake. I just hope that you liked it. Feel free to like and subscribe. We might come back to the series if you like it. For now, I hope that whatever you guys do next, it goes super, 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 super well. And if that is sleeping, sleep well. Sweet dreams. And good night.